Hi guys. Hope you're having a nice evening. Apologies for the slight delay at the start. Facebook have still not fixed their technical difficulties that I was having last week. I think I'm going to have to email because I use software and everything, and I think we need an update or something. So, anyway, I'm glad you're here. Hey, Anne. Glad you're joining us. As always, say hi if you're here. We're going to do some easy Christmas cards tonight. Hey, Karen. I was reminded though, as I was setting up, and because I had this plan about I'm going to do this particular kind of Christmas card, and then I thought, ooh, I could use one of our kits to make Christmas cards. It's the Advent calendar kit, but you could use it to make Christmas cards with. I thought that could be fun, and then I remembered I've got a brand new kit to show you. So I'm going to start off with the Christmas cards that I plan to show you, and then the choice is yours. Either I show off the new kit, or I make Christmas cards using the Advent calendar kit. So vote in the comments, tell me what it is you'd like to see. But one way or another, we are going to do some Christmas cards tonight because it's getting close. And I don't know about you, but I have an awful lot more still to make. So hey Shona, hey Ali, glad you're all here. Right, let's jump to the good stuff. And I'm going to stick on my lights. It's definitely getting so dark out there. We need the extra lights. Right. These aren't the Christmas cards we're going to make. I'm going to show you these to explain to you the sort of Christmas cards that I'm going to do. So these are using designer series paper, cutting it into panels. So this particular card is basically a piece of designer series paper that's cut into two strips and stuck onto the card with a sentiment. Nice and easy. These cards were basically a 3" by 3" piece of designer series paper cut into inch strips and stuck onto the card. Really easy. This is the sort of vibe we're going for. Oh, it's a bad connection, Ali. I'm sorry. We're voting to say, do you want to see the new kit or do you want to see the Advent calendar kit turned into Christmas cards? That's the vote. So, but yeah, so both of these cards are basically strips of designer series paper stuck down plus a sentiment. That's the vibe we're going for today. So the paper that I'm going to be using is this paper here. So this is from the online exclusives. Hi Anne, thanks for joining us. This is the Shining Christmas 12 by 12 designer series paper. Beautiful stuff, love it. The colours that it uses are Cherry Cobbler and Mossy Meadow. So I am going to very quickly, tonight is all about quick. It's about quick and easy. But having said that, if I'm going too fast, I want you to tell me and I will slow down. Starting off with A4 card, and I have scored that using my trimmer at 10.5. And I'm going to do the same with the other one at 10.5. And then I'm going to cut it at 14.8. And that's going to give me 4 card blanks. Hi Linda, glad you're here. I love that you say hi to each other as well, and rather than just hi to me. It makes me feel like we're a nice community, which is what we should be. Next, I have some basic white cardstock. Now, having done the SEC show recently, I cut a whole load of pieces of basic white for use during the demo table. So I'm using these up. It's just quarter of an A4 sheet. So the size that I want, these are going to go on the front of my card, and I'm being cheeky and I'm cutting 2 at a time. So I'm just going to trim that and make it 10 centimeters by 14.3. The other way you could do this is just to trim off 0.5 centimetre round both sides. And that will give you a piece that should fit nicely on the front of your card. Actually, I think I'm going to make it slightly larger than that. So we'll keep those ones. They'll go on the inside. And because I'm making 3 cards, let's just cut another one to go on the inside. Don't be surprised if some of you guys get one of these Christmas cards, because we're at that stage where I have a lot more Christmas cards to make and we are running out of time. Okay, so this time I'm going to take off 1 centimetre. So that's going to take it to 13.8 by 9.5 because I want this to be on the front of my card, but with a decent, yeah, there we go. I want it to be a decent amount round the edge so that I can see that. Let's just do this third one as well. I should have checked to see when we started this. Not that it's speed crafting. It's not all about doing things speedily and faster than the speed of light. But sometimes it's nice. Sometimes it's just nice to get things done. Let's just do this. Right. Let's take some of these papers. So, having said that, is that going to be the right size? They're not. So let's take one of them, and now see, I'm trying to decide which patterns to use. I'm not going to use the Christmas trees. I'm going to use the holly, the stripes. Will I use something on the other side? See, the shiny side is so pretty. Let's use the parcels. There we go. So I have got the parcels, the holly, and the presents. Okay. And I'm not going to cut them all at the same side. I've got 2 sheets here, so I'm going to cut 2 at the same side at the same time. But I think that's enough. So I'm going to cut these to 9 centimeters by 13.3. And if I check, that should fit onto my Whisper White layer. Okay, so I've got the holly, the parcels, and let's just do the stripes. So 9 by 13.3 is the size that we want. And these should be the same size. And you want to check these 3 pieces do need to be the same size. The shiny side is so much nicer. I mean, the other sides are really cute. I could see me using them if these sides weren't so gorgeous. But they are. They are. Right. So, have I made these small enough? I have. Okay. I've got my 3 pieces of designer series paper that fit onto my layer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to press them all so that they're on top of each other. So I've got 3 layers here, okay? And I'm going to cut these into 3 bits. So you'll be thinking, Emma, you've gone mad. No more than usual, ladies. No more than usual. So I want to cut from the point here across to there, but never cut onto a point because you're going to blunt your point. It's not going to look nice. So always cut on a flat edge. I'm using the Stampin' Up trimmer, which I'm confident, yeah, there we go, goes through all 3 pieces. So I'm going to cut that piece there, and now I'm going to cut down the center. In fact, let's butt that up against the edge. I'm not going to do it perfectly in the center. Let's do it, yeah. I'm not measuring this, I'm just kind of judging it by eye so that I've got 3 pieces. So they will all fit together to create a nice rectangle. So I've got 1, 2, 3 pieces like that. There we go. Actually, I'm wondering if I flip this around. Do it this way. Yes, this is what I want to do. Okay, so I have 3. I've cut my 3 panels into 3 pieces. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix these up. So I have the corner piece in each of the 3 patterns. Then I'm going to have the long piece in each of the 3 patterns, and then finally the bottom corner piece in each of the 3 patterns, like so. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick them onto my cards. So I'm using trusty Tombow, because you can't go wrong with Tombow. Let's start with my corner piece. This is a really fun technique to do with any sort of pattern paper that you've got. I mean, it's nice using the fancy pattern paper, but you can use this with any of your pattern papers. And it's a good way to use it up, because if you're anything like me, you have got mountains of the stuff. My poor long-suffering husband has been selling a lot of my stuff on eBay. Not my current stuff, I should hasten to add. That stuff's mine. But my retired stuff, I have 15 years worth of retired stuff that I have been grudgingly parting with. And he's put it on eBay, and lots of it is selling, which is good because it's creating more space and it means that other people can love it. But I do have an awful lot of paper, and the full packs we're selling, but the open packs are going as freebies. So check out my eBay page and have a look at that. Right, so you can see I've stuck them down. I've left little gaps in between just to make them stand out. And I'm going to do that for all 3 of my panels. What do you think of this technique so far? Let me know in the comments. Is this something that you've tried before? Did it work for you? Is it something you've seen but wasn't sure how to do? Was it something that now that you've seen it, you'll be like, I am totally going to do that? Let me know what you think. It almost feels a little bit like cheating, doing a really easy card. But when it comes to Christmas, and if you've got lots of Christmas cards to send, yes, it's nice to spend a couple of hours on a really nice Christmas card for somebody special, but you can't do that for all 100 or 200 people in your life, or even for 50 people in your life. We just don't have time. Unless you're one of these really organised people who started making Christmas cards back in July, which every year I say I'm going to do that. Every year I say I'm going to do the 10 Christmas cards a month all year round. And then we get to... Well, to be fair, we're in November and I'm making Christmas cards, so this is certainly a step forward from where I have been in previous years. And all those who have been hand-gifted a Christmas card from me on Christmas Day will be speaking to that. You've done it with the All About Autumn Designer Series paper, Ali. That paper is gorgeous. I have to say, if you're after that paper, grab it quickly. They do still have some stock in the UK, but once it's gone, it's gone. It has completely sold out in the US, and boy are they unhappy about it, because it's been such a popular paper. I would also say the same goes for the star trinkets. They are due to come back in stock, but then once they're out, they're gone. I know that they've gone in the US. So these things are for a limited time only, people. If there's something you like, grab it before it's gone. We're getting into that end of catalogue period where stuff is not guaranteed. You've seen it before, Linda, as well. Took you till August this year. Was that August to start or August to finish, Linda? I've seen your Christmas card stash. You're really, really good. You're going to give it a try, Anne. Glad to hear it. Be sure to share your creations with me. You know, I love to see what people make. I should use a bone folder, but honestly, guys, if you could see my craft table, it's like an explosion in a craft shop. It's absolute carnage. There's stuff everywhere. Partly because I'm getting ready for On Stage at Home, which is happening this weekend, and I have some of my lovely team coming to watch that with me. And then in the afternoon, we're doing our virtual team gathering, although those who are coming to my home will be invited to stay on if they choose. I will send an email out, guys. It's going to be happening after my Facebook Live, I promise. Along with the tidying up. What's more important, tidying up or sending out information? It's probably going to be sending the information, not going to lie. But I've got on stage at home next weekend, well, this weekend, and then next weekend is the retreat. So excited about the retreat. Stick in the comments if you're coming to the retreat. I'm really excited about it. We've been finalising the projects, getting all the instruction packets and all the project packs ready, sorting the gifts, all of these things. Really, really exciting. Lots of fun. Right. I'm just going to stick these. I'm going to stick the inserts in the centre later. What I am going to do just now is I have got my Mossy Meadow. Where's my cherry cobbler? 2 ticks. You know what you do when your craft room is so messy that you can't find the ink pad in the colour that you want? Well, isn't it handy that we have brush markers? We can use the pen instead. Now, I did get a stamp set out using the Hope and Peace stamp set. It's an online exclusive, but this Merry Christmas is one of my absolute favourites. So that's what I'm going to be doing. You're coming to the retreat, Karen. You're coming as well, Anne. It's going to be so much fun. Seriously, guys, you're going to love these projects. We are going to have a blast. We do have one spot still available. Last chance for anybody. If you're free that weekend, I appreciate some of you wanted to come but can't because you have prior commitments. But that weekend, if you're free, we would love to have you join us. It's going to be so much fun. There we go. Nobody would ever knew it was because I couldn't find my ink pad. Ah, dear. Please tell me I'm not the only one who crafts in an absolute bomb site. I like to believe that many crafters are, what would we call it? Creative thinkers, and therefore not necessarily the tidiest of people. There we go. Right, and then I'm using my trusty oval punch here, just the scalloped one here, because I checked beforehand, and this is the one that this sentiment fits into. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. And this. You've well used it as well, Linda. Yeah, it's been a really good one. You're coming to the retreat too, Shona? Yes, you're one of our past attendees, so you can tell the others how much fun you had last time, hopefully. What I will say is, for those who joined us in March, we do have bits and pieces for you guys. Some of the instruction sheets that were promised from the previous retreat are available. And you'll be pleased to know that you will be given the instruction sheets for this year's retreat at the retreat rather than having to wait for them further down the line. So every year we're trying to improve and get better on what we do. Right, needs some bling to finish off. You know what I'm like with my bling, but I don't actually think it needs a huge amount. I'm thinking just a little bit on the sentiment. Let's put one down there and a teeny tiny one up here. So much easier if I use my take a pick tool, but as you've guessed, it's somewhere behind the laptop in my room of doom. Let's put that on there. Put that on there. My creativity spilling out everywhere. I love that, Anne. I'll use that the next time my husband despairs at the sight of my craft room. Right, so there you have it. Those are my 3 Christmas cards using the Shining Christmas Designer Series paper and a sentiment and a little bit of bling. Creative turmoil, Karen. I love that too. And Sean, I'm really glad you enjoyed March. What do you think of these Christmas cards? Were they quick? Were they simple? Is that something that you think you can try? I certainly found that nice and easy to do. And I think doing more of these, sitting in front of the TV, just cutting all my card blanks, making sure I've got everything ready, and then just gluing it all together. Nice, quick and easy, straightforward, easy cards. So that's what I had planned to do on this Facebook Live. Thank you, Karen. I'm glad you like them. So now our options, because I haven't seen any votes, so I'm going to ask you to vote again. It's one of two boxes, guys. Which box do you want to see? We've got on the left-hand side, we've got the Rustic Christmas Advent Calendar, which I've shown you before, but we're going to turn that into Christmas cards. Or this is the new kit, which just came out a couple of days ago. This is called The Best Destination. It's a brand new kit. It's just become available. Let me know which one you want to see. So Advent calendars to cards or the new kit. What do you fancy? Make cards from Rustic Christmas, Advent calendar into cards. Looks as if it's going to be this one. We're on a Christmas theme, aren't we? Right. 2 votes. You can see the new kit another time. Oh, sorry, Flora. Well, actually, no. Let's see. Oh, no. You see, it's 3-1 at the moment. 4-1. Sorry, Flora. I'll do the new kit next week. That's a promise. Next Wednesday, I'll do the new kit. Let's do Advent calendar cards. Ali's getting in there with her vote. If you wanted the new kit as well. More Advent calendar, more Advent. No, sorry, guys. I'll do the new kit next Wednesday, I promise. Let's do Advent calendar to cards. So I'm probably going to put the pegs to one side. At first I thought I could use them on the front of the card to clip things to the front of the card, but actually I think they're too big because they're not easily going to go through the letterbox. So I'm going to pop that to one side. Let's open up this Advent calendar. I have shown you the Advent calendar kit, haven't I? I thought I had. It was at the SEC. I know that I had it there at the show because I've got one of them made up. And I can tell you that the length of time that it takes to make up this Advent calendar kit is equal to 1 Great British Bake Off. Because the week before the show, that's what I did. I knew I wanted to have the calendar on the stand, and so I made up the entire thing. And it took me the length of 1 Great British Bake Off. So let's show you this kit. You do remember seeing it at the show. This is it. So we had it on 2 strings rather than on 3 like this. But basically there's little envelopes, little pockets with the clothes pegs, and you decorate them. So the instructions, as always, gives you absolutely everything you need, including, and I love this, they print the ruler in both centimetres and inches. So when it says, you know, cut 20 centimetres of twine, it tells you what they've got. So, right. It comes with 2 different kinds of twine. You get the linen type one. It's much thicker than our linen thread. If you've seen our normal linen thread, this stuff is much, much thicker. It's almost braided rather than twined. It's really nice stuff. And then you get this one, which is, again, it's a twine, but it's a woven twine. So it's flat. Do you see that? Show it against some white card, maybe. It's really, really nice. It's for making the bows, and it's really pretty. So you get one of each of those. You get a little pack of foam pads. You get all the envelopes you need. So there are 25. Now tell me, I used to remember Advent calendars went up to 24, but these days they all seem to go to 25. What do you remember as a kid, or if you were making an Advent calendar, would it go to 24 or would it go to 25? Let me know. Hey Hen, glad you're here. Yeah, I'm still going live. We're playing with the Advent calendar now, but can you see the difference between those 2 pockets? They look almost like fabric. That one looks very much as if it's woven fabric. And that one's really pretty as well. Anne's a 24. Me too, Anne. I always thought Advent calendars went to 24. Because 25's Christmas. You get the presents on Christmas. Then we've got these. So as with all the kits, the pieces just punch out. You don't need to cut anything. It's all pre-cut for you. So you've got these wreath pieces and these leaf pieces. And you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sheets of those. Plus, because this really confused me, where's the extra one? You get an extra 2 of the wreaths. Okay, so don't be confused by that, like I was. But you do get those. What else have we got in here? You've got red sequins, which are really pretty and which actually I used in different ways than they were telling me to use. I'll show you them. I'll show you in a second. We've got glue dots, trusty glue dots. We've got more printed pieces. So there's like holly leaves with berries, poinsettias with leaves, and then these bows. The poinsettias as well. Do you see the gold in the centre? It's nice and shiny and sparkly. Really pretty. Then you've got these, then you start to get to the numbers. So you've got these wood round pieces. More 24s here. It's absolutely, Advent calendar's got to be 24. Here's some more wood grain style pieces. Again, all pre-cut for you. Nice and easy. More of the gold bling. So we've got these little kind of square pieces with the tickets edges cut out. And then like these little banner pieces here. So what I'll do is I'll show you what each of the pockets look like. And then we'll start putting them together as cards. Okay. So the first one, what they want you to do is you need to be relatively gentle with this. If you were doing this kit with kids, I would probably poke these pieces out for them because these bits can be a little bit delicate as you're separating them. I suppose it does depend on the age of the kids. Maybe 8 years old plus would be able to manage it. Anything younger than that, I might want to help them so that it didn't rip. But you're going to pop out 2 of those and then you use the glue dots. I really should find my take a pick tool. I'm just double checking to see which way around this goes. So I'm going to put glue dots on top of the darker one and you use 3 like that. And peel off the backings. And then the paler one just kind of sits on the top. And it's nice if you offset it. So if I hold that up, you can see the dark underneath the pale green. Don't line them up so that you can't see the one underneath. You just kind of offset it slightly. There you go. Then the wreath is what you use these pieces with. Now, if I'm doing this as an advent calendar, I'm sticking the one in the middle. If I'm doing this as a card, I'm probably not going to put the one in the middle. Or actually, no. Do you know what? I am. Watch this. You know how they say up there for thinking, down there for dancing? Let's put my dancing shoes away and get thinking. So I'm going to, as I said, I'm going to make this up as if it was the advent calendar. And then I'm going to turn it into a Christmas card. It's going to be magic. Magic. Right, this one uses one of these red bows. And what it suggests in the instructions, I'm going to show you this. It's suggesting that you use, can you see there? You use a pen and roll around this piece to give it some dimension. That means I do actually want a bone folder. Because of course you could use a pen, but we're crafters and crafters have bone folders and we use these bone folders for a reason. So let me see if I can do this without causing carnage. One moment. I found my pencil case. That's a good start. There is hopefully a bone folder in here. There is. Hurrah! The one I got from Centre Stage one year. Okay, so what you're going to do then is take your bone folder or a pen if you wanted to and just curl round the bow. Now the way I like to do it is if you curl these 2 ends and then those bits there. So it's basically all curled round like that, but then just turn it upside down and curl just that center piece. So then that way it gives you some really nice dimension. Just makes it look a little bit fancier. Okay, so this then sticks on with, now they say cut a dimensional in half, but because I'm not daft, I'm going to use the edges of my piece and just put half a dimensional on there. And then this just sits at the bottom of my wood round like that. Then we use some of these sequins. Now, it says to use 6 sequins per round. So let's start sticking these on. Because they look like holly berries, don't they? I think they're cute. What do you think? Do you like the wreath? Is this something that you can see yourself using as an advent calendar? You still to be convinced? You're more curious to see how I'm going to turn this into a card? Right. So if this was going to be an advent calendar, then what I would do at this point is I would take one of my pegs and I would stick this to the back of, or to the front, to the side of one of my pegs, like that, using glue dots. Just right there. And then you use this to hold your envelope shut. And that is one of my advent calendar pockets. And then what you do is you basically peg them all onto your strings and hang them all up. So they're really pretty. But we're not doing advent calendar. No, we're being a rebel. We're going to do this as a card. So let's cut down the side of this, because I do like this, the paper that they've used to make these envelopes, this kind of linen effect. I like the little scallop piece as well. So let's cannibalize my envelope. Let's see how I'm going to use this. One of the handy things in the kit is it tells you what the colours are that are involved. And as it happens, it's Cherry Cobbler, Mossy Meadow, Crumb Cake, Old Olive, which were the colours that I was using beforehand. It's almost as if I planned it, guys. I didn't. It's an absolute fluke. But let's pretend I planned it. Right. Let's trim that to fit. There we go. And if you're worried about rough edges, might just trim the side there just slightly. My scissor work isn't always perfect. Even with lovely sharp scissors like the Snips. Let's just trim that off so it's a nice straight edge. There we go. So, all the way down the centre like that. You could fold it up and have a little bit. Right, here we go. There's the question then. Should I have it folded up so that you've got the white bit at the bottom? Or should I do it from the top and have it all the way down to the bottom with a scallop like that? What I'm thinking of doing, just so you know, is that this is going to end up on the front like that. I'm going to cover up the one, don't worry. But tell me what you think. Should it be long like that? Or showing the white at the bottom? Karen says from the top. I'm tempted to go with you, I'm afraid, Karen. I think that's probably going to be the best way to do this. See if there's any more votes. while you're deciding. I'm just going to do the sentiment while you're deciding. This is my crumb cake cardstock. I've still got my cherry cobbler pen and my Merry Christmas stamp, so let's just do this again. I should have looked for my cherry cobbler ink pad while I was up, shouldn't I? Didn't know I was going to be doing this. There we go. More votes from the top. From the top it is then. To be fair, I think that probably does look prettiest. There we go. So I'm going to use my trusty Tombow. And let's center this. Go. Flat or on dimensionals? I've got a lot of dimensions already. I'm going to do it flat. I know you might think, oh no, Emma, do dimensionals. But the wood thing has got dimensionals on it. The bow's got dimensionals on it. I'm very conscious that this should, in theory, go through a letterbox, go through a post box. So let's just do this flat for just now. So I'm going to stick that on there. I'm going to stick my Merry Christmas over the centre of the wood piece like that. Again, I'm going to do it flat because there's a lot dimensional already. Just tuck it under. There we go. Still see a little bit of the wood at the top to give a little bit of wood effect. And the Tombow is great for being very forgiving and letting me position it. And then bigger bottles of Tombow. I think you could be right, Mum. Now, you see, I was going to tie a bow, but I've already got a bow there. Maybe this just needs... Does this need anything at the bottom? If I can still tuck it under. As I say, very forgiving Tombow. No, leave it as is. Okay, I will take my advice from my design council. Leave it as is. There we go. Do you like it? See how it can turn from an advent calendar into a card so easily? There we go. That's the first one. Now there are 4 different designs. I don't know if we've got time for all of them, but let's do the second one to show you what it's like. And when we start running out of time, you can tell me and we'll stop. So it's only 8:15. Got a wee bit more time, haven't we? Okay, so number 2 uses this gold piece here. And you notice how it's scalloped at the bottom but curved at the top? That's because that curve is designed to fit on that envelope like that, which is quite nice. So you're meant to do that. Then we get not those leaves. Now, this is something to watch out for. Different kinds of leaves. So the groups of 3 leaves go with the poinsettia. The groups of 2 leaves are the hollyberries. So let's poke out our holly leaves and our hollyberries. And again, it's suggesting that you do it with a pen, but I'm going to do it with my bone folder to curl and get these leaves. So if I curl them in both in these directions and then from the top on the other side, just curl it the other way, that way you end up with this kind of effect where it's still sticks down there. There we go. Actually, do I want to curl it up the way? Play around with this, you know, they're leaves. You can have leaves in lots of different curly kind of ways. Let's curl it around this way. Yeah, do you know what? I actually think that's quite pretty. Curling them from the inside up the way rather than down the way. In fact, I might go back and change my advent calendar. Right, so that, and then you stick the holly berries on the top with a dimensional. That goes on there. And according to the instructions, then that sticks on top of there. And that's you finished on this one. Now, I actually think it needs more. So given that we've got lots of these, I like to put these on here. You do have lots, you do have plenty. What I would say is do all of the wreath type ones first, and then what you've got left over, you can use these. Actually, let's count it. 2, 4, 6. If you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wreaths, and 6 of these 3, yeah, you're going to have loads of them left over. It's not going to be a problem. So my holly berries go on there. So that's meant to be pocket number 2. Let's turn this one into a card. Right, cherry cobbler cardstock. Same as we did before. So scoring at 10.5, cutting at 14.8. Let's get my card blanks. Fold that over. Got my bone folder now. Right, let's use the pocket again. This time, instead of cutting it with scissors and then trimming it with my trimmer, I'm just going to try and cut this straight with my trimmer to begin with. See how this works. Yay! Works perfectly fine. Let's do the same at the other side. There we go. Right. So now I've got my pocket piece, which can go... Now, we did the last one from the top, and I think if we put this on, maybe trim that from the top as well, and then put a sentiment on. So you could do that. Other thing I could do though, is I could go in from the side and have a bit along there. So if I did that, I'm going to trim that bit off there, put my holly pointing up like that. What do you think? Or do it along like this? Let's see. Put that. Just kind of doing it with my fingers at the moment to give you an idea. If I put that there, trimmed off that curvy bit, stuck that on there, and then my sentiment. Yeah. Let's do this one from the side. We did this one from the top and it was nice. I'm going to try and do this one from the side. So let's just make a mark at where I want it to be. Find my pencil case. I'm also going to trim this rounded bit off, just like that. There we go. Let's go with our, come on. Wrap the twine round before you stick it down. Yes, that's exactly what I should do. Now, I don't normally stick twine down with Tombow. Normally I would have used dry glue, but that ship has sailed. So we're just going to stick a lot of it round and hope for the best. Oh, I'm getting covered in glue. It was a good idea, Mum. I just wish I had seen it 30 seconds earlier. You know what? I think this could still work. Let's pop that there. Right. And now, so we've got that bit on there. Now, centered, slightly lower down, a little bit centered, I think. Now, here's a top tip. See if you're using gold foil and Tombow, try to avoid getting Tombow on top of the gold foil, because you'll end up with this dull bit. Can you see? I've got a bit there that's dull. So what I'm going to do is just take a little bit of my dress, buff that off, along with all these other gluey marks that I've got on because I'm covered in glue. And you can see that mark has gone now. So gold foil is beautiful, but you do have to be careful so that you don't end up with marks all over it. Right, let's pop it down, center that. Again, don't use too much glue or you're going to end up with loads of it on your foil again. You could probably buff this off using a tissue rather than using your own clothing. But this dress is going in the wash this evening anyway, and Tombow will come out of clothing. Go on, ask me how I know. Oh, I'm making a right mess of this here. I do know what I'm doing, honestly. And when in doubt, cover it up. There we go. Let's use my foam pads on my holly here on the back. No, Anne, you and I are clearly two of a kind when it comes to getting glue everywhere. Right, so we've got holly on there. I think their sentiment's going to go at this side because then it's going to cover up a multitude of sins. Let's just clean off this again. What do you think? Sentiment on the crumb cake again, or should I do a Whisper White sentiment? I'll do a crumb cake one first, but if you think it would look better on white, let me know and I can do one of those as well. Place your votes, please. In fact, I'll just do one of each and you can see them both and tell me which one you prefer. Now you see at the moment it's one vote for crumb cake and one vote for white. So we're going to need a tiebreaker. There's the crumb. And there's the white. What is going to look best? So there's the white. Merry Christmas, everyone. And there's the crumb cake. You see, they're both pretty. 2 votes for crumb. 1 vote for white. Anybody else weighing in here? You see Jen's changed her mind to white. Or on scalloped crumb, the stamp I'm using won't quite fit into the small oval. White, 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 right? It looks as if the whites get it. And again, I'm going to use dimensionals on that. Oops. Just don't put it upside down. Unless that card is destined for Australia. There we go. And you know what? Because I love my bling, I'm going to put another sequin on. Because I love my bling, I'm going to put another 2 sequins on. Just there like that. There we go. Right. So that's our second card that was an advent calendar pocket. It's turned into a card. A girl is allowed to change her mind, Jen. Absolutely. A right I reserve on a very regular basis. Okay, have we got time to keep going? Shall I do pockets 3 and 4 or shall we call it a night? Let me know if anybody wants me to keep going. I'm going to poke out the bits for the next one. Getting lots of thumbs up. Right. I'm going to take that as encouragement to keep going. Let's have a look. The next card, keep going, one more. Okay, I'll do one more. The next one, so again, you're going to poke out these leaves. Remember, they're a little bit delicate, so if you're doing this with kids, I would poke these pieces out for them, unless you can trust them not to rip them. Although, at the end of the day, if they do get ripped, it's not the end of the world, because they're leaves. Leaves have got different bits ripped off them and are not perfect. But if you're the kind of person who needs things to be perfect, then you might want to do it yourself. Okay, so for this pocket, we're using one of the linen type ones again. With number 3 goes in the bottom. And then these pieces. So on the wreath, we had the dark on the bottom and the light on the top. For the leaves, we put the light on the bottom and the dark on the top. And the way that it wants me to do that is by using glue dots, which were here a second ago. Here they are. So you put a couple of glue dots on the back of the dark leaf, just up at the top. About there. And then peel off those backings. I do have time. For you guys, I've always got time. Plus, as soon as I've finished, all I've really got to look forward to is sending an email and tidying my craft room. Right. To finish off this pocket, so this time we're making a bow. You guys know how to do the bunny ears version of making a bow, don't you? So you basically make 2 loops with your twine or your ribbon. You tie them in a knot and then you adjust. And that is the bunny ears method of making a bow, because you're doing 2 loops like bunny ears. So I'm going to trim that off like that. So this particular one then uses some sequins. That's a good point, guys. If you're using sequins for other bits, make sure you've made up all the pieces first, so you're not being a rebel like I was. Or have extra red sequins. I've got red rhinestones somewhere that I'm sure would look really pretty. Put another one right down at the bottom. So the advent calendar version of this leaf piece has the bow stuck to the top and all of it stuck onto my clothes peg, and then this number 3 sits along the bottom of the pouch and the peg holds it shut like that. So that is the official advent calendar version, which is very pretty. I should mention these little pockets. They actually hold quite a lot. You know, you could put gift cards in there, you could put little jokes and messages, you could slip sweets. They fit an after 8. As one of my dear friends used to say, diamond ring. You know, there's lots of little things that you could put in those pouches. But now what we're going to do is turn it into a card. Okay, I think because it's a green background, we need to use the cherry cobbler base for this one here again. Where's my bone folder? This time, do you know what? Let's mix it up. Let's have a landscape sized card. And let's see if we do the piece doing about there, I think. With that on the top. And then my sentiment. Could be nice. Let's trim this off and give it a try. So actually, do you know what? I've got this other piece. Before we start chopping up another envelope, here's the piece I didn't use earlier. Look, I could put that on there. I need to trim the edges because this is the one that I hand cut, wasn't it? And I haven't trimmed that bit of the edge. But you know what they say, waste not, want not. This is why my room is full of tiny, tiny little offcuts in so many different ways, shape or form. Because I don't waste anything. It just keeps staying up in a mess. But look, what about if I put that on there like that? Do we like that with a curve along the bottom? And then that can go on there. Actually, we've got this wooden panel as well. This wooden panel. You see the crumb cake on the wood by itself. It needs to be a red Merry Christmas, doesn't it? And do we think it needs to be a Merry Christmas on white again? Let me know what you think. Are we back to the white or the crumb cake Merry Christmas for this one? Let me do a cherry cobbler one on white. I suspect it probably is going to end up being cherry cobbler on white. But I can do one on crumb cake if you want me to. For those just tuning in, I'm using my pen because my real red, my cherry cobbler ink pad is buried on my table somewhere. Cherry cobbler on crumb cake. A tea bag. Oh, you mean to put inside the pocket? At first I thought you were suggesting I put a tea bag on the front of the card, and I was trying to figure out how that would work. But yes, putting a tea bag inside the pocket would be a really lovely idea. In fact, you could get, see if you knew somebody who liked lots of different kinds of teas. You could get all the different flavoured tea bags. In fact, if you were smart, you could just nick them from the hotels. You know how hotels often have like lots of flavoured tea bags? You could go to a hotel for a week, just nick all their tea bags, and then make up an advent calendar. Might be cheaper to buy them than going to a hotel, but hey, you don't get to go to spas if you go to the supermarket. You do if you got to go to a hotel. Let's do one of each, one on white and one on crumb. See what we think. So we're thinking about putting that on there with the bow, and then this, I'll trim it down to the right size, but we've got it either the wood with the white and the Merry Christmas that would go, actually, it would go on there. And I'm thinking a bit more of the twine wrapped around that bit, just a little kind of crisscross. So we've either got the white with a cherry cobbler, or we've got the crumb cake with the cherry cobbler. You guys decide which looks best. Crumb cake or white. And while you guys are doing that, I'm going to do this little crisscross idea I've just had. So let's use a glue dot at the back. Goes on this side. Ooh, even Stevens at the moment. One for crumb and one for white. Who's going to have the tiebreaker? The white does stand out, but the crumb cake looks pretty too. Oh. You see, if you guys can't decide, how can I decide? It's just too tricky. At the moment, we've got one each. It's two each. It's a tie. I'm going to keep sticking stuff down while you keep deciding who's going to be the one to break the tie. Right, so let's stick our envelope piece down there. I like that curve. And it kind of fits with the curve of the oval sentiments as well. Nice. This I'm going to stick down with more glue dots. So I'm going to put the glue dot onto the back of my piece, just at the top, because then it can kind of have a bit of movement to it almost. Let's do it there. And then another glue dot to add on the bow. Ali's broken the tie. White it is. There we go. Let's pop that under there. And then mixing it up like that. Nah. The white does stand out better. Foam pads on there to cover up my upside down 3. And there we go. There's another Christmas card done. I think we're going to call it a halt there, guys. I know there is one left to do, the poinsettia, but I will finish that off separately and post a picture. Let me just, because we've already gone well over our hour. So let's just have a look. So these are the 3. Oh, these are the 3 cards that we've got here now. My screen's gone a bit weird. So these were the 3 that we did from the advent calendar. So using the envelopes cut up to put on the front of the cards, using the Merry Christmas stamp, and then these were the 3 quick and easies that we did at the start of the video. Remember, these videos, they stay on my page, so you can go back and look at them afterwards if you want, and I talk all the dimensions through when I'm making them. They are, excuse me, they are also on my YouTube channel, so if you want to ever look them up on YouTube, you can find bits and pieces there as well. All right, so I hope you have enjoyed that crafting session tonight. I promise next week I will do the new kit. I will hopefully not forget. In fact, I'm going to put a reminder in my diary for it. If you need anything at all, then please do get in touch. You know, I'm happy to help. For those coming on Saturday, I look forward to seeing you bright and early. At least Tom will be awake. I will do my very best, but we'll have bacon rolls ready. And for everybody else, keep an eye out for a little something in the post coming from me. This is for all my team members, by the way. For all my lovely customers, lovely to see you too. And as always, happy crafting. Take care. Bye.